That the bus, and I was on fire. Okay, I really shouldn't be joking about this. Everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Bibi Babatunde-Ikotun. I'm a faith and lifestyle YouTuber, blogger, and podcaster based in Toronto, Canada. I'm Nigerian, and you already know that. So today I'm going to be talking about something interesting. I don't know, maybe I'll cry a little bit. Hopefully not. I have some tissue just in case I cry, but I really hope I don't cry because I'm a big girl now. But then I'm going to be talking about living with born scars. So you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you might have seen my picture before or my pictures before, and you see that I have scars on my body. I have scars on my legs and some other parts of my body. Like I have this scar right here, I have this scar right here. Yes, I have like different scars. So I'm gonna be doing like a story time of how I got those scars and also living as a burn victim with visible scars and how life can be. And so I really hope, I don't know why I'm sharing this video, but I was just impressed on my art. Maybe there's someone out there feeling some kind of way about themselves because of the way they look or because of a feature on their body that they don't quite like. Maybe this will help you heal and process and move forward. So yeah, let's start from the beginning. So on March 24th, 2012, which is a date I would never forget. That's a lie. I actually forgot. I had to check my phone to be sure of the date. I've actually forgotten the date. I'm bad with numbers. But yeah, March 24th, 2012, I was in 300 level Babcock University. That's in Nigeria. I was in 300 level, which is my third year, and I was a student executive. I was the secretary of my department of my program. And every year in school, we plan a field trip where the students get to leave school and go experience something amazing. So that year, we had planned to go to the Badagry slave port in Lagos. So my school is in Ilishan, Remo, Ogun State, and to go to Lagos was like 45 minutes drive, but to get to Badagry, coupled with traffic, it's really, really far. I'll just say it's really, really far. So when we went in the morning, I sat with my friends. We had a good time. It was a bit tight because I think we had planned for less seats. So the buses were not enough. So we had to do a lot of like squeezing and sit together. And so we all went there to this Badagry slave port. It was a great time. I'm going to insert a picture of me right here on the boat. We actually took boat cruises. We learned about the history of like our ancestors that were captured as slaves in the Atlantic slave trade, because my course was history and international studies. That's what my bachelor's was in. So we learned a lot about that. It was amazing. So now we're going back because I didn't quite have a seat on the bus with my friend. I think I squatted, but it wasn't very, very comfortable. So now we're going back. We had a university support staff who helped us bring our food. So I was like, this guy has a car. So I spoke to the president and I was like, he has a car. Let a couple of us that didn't have a seat, because a lot of us as ESCO, we had to give as executive. I said ESCO like you guys know what that means. But a lot of us as executive, as departmental executive, we had to give up our seats in the bus for other people to see. So we weren't quite comfortable. So when we were going back, we saw the guys car. We're like, yippee, at least we'll be comfortable on our ride back. It's quite late, it's dark and everything. So we joined the guy's car. So we started the trip back. It was actually getting dark when we left Lagos for Ogun State, and there's a lot of traffic in Lagos. If you know Lagos, Lagos is a commercial city of Nigeria, or commercial capital of Nigeria. So we started the trip late. So now we're going, the guy's car kept having issues, but there was one bus left. So we had different buses. We had like long coaster buses, we had like smaller versions. So the guy's car kept having issues. Luckily for us, there was one of the small buses behind us. So we fell for a plan like, okay, how do we do this? So we said, let's tow this guy's car. So we connected it to a rope and the bus in front was pulling the car. But it wasn't just working out, it was a hot mess. So like, okay, we'll just park the car. The guy will know where it is. The next day when it's bright, it will come and sort and stuff out. That let's just join that small bus. So we all joined the bus and we're just like there. So as soon as I joined the bus, I was so exhausted. I'd even fought with my then boyfriend, but because I had fought with him, then I had a busy day, so we didn't get to talk. I remember I sent him a text message. You know those small phones where it only has like 3 buttons and you have to like press like you have to press, you know, those small phones that only have touch, like no social media, nothing. So I sent him a message. I was like, I'm really sorry for what I did today, yada yada yada. And I sent him a message. So as soon as I sent him a message, I just rested my head on the window to just nap, because that been a very, very long day. So I napped. So all I remember was a loud, deafening sound, like, you know, that sound that like rings in your head, and you're like, what the heck? So that was all I heard, and I went unconscious. So I was unconscious, and I didn't know anything that was happening. So this is what this part I'm going to be telling is people how they narrated it to me and my family, because I didn't know what was happening. Baby girl was unconscious, passed out. So apparently, the bus that I had joined, the driver had been slightly intoxicated. He had been drinking during the field trip while we're having the activities. He was drinking. So when he was driving, it was being rough. So like the road was kind of like a two road, going and coming. So if someone in front of you is slow, of course you can overtake safely. But what he had been doing was like overtaking, like if a car is coming, he's going to overtake like at the very, very small window that he's going to like collide with car. So he did it a couple of times. He was driving really, really rough. People tried to like slow him down a couple of them, but he was driving really, really rough. So anywho, the guy finally was driving. He tried to overtake the car in front of him, and there was an oncoming trailer. So it had two options: either it collides with the trailer or swerves into the bush. So thank God his brain was working, and he knew to swerve into the bush. So he swerved into the bush, and the car tumbled like multiple times. Bam, 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 bam. Like in the movies, I'm like, bam. So I guess it was that sharp noise. I'd already tumbled. It was that sharp noise of like the land after tumbling a couple of times. I heard, and I passed out. So I had been maybe flung out of the window. I don't even know. Anyways, don't let me get ahead of myself. So that happened. But luckily for us, there was another bus behind us. We're not the last school bus. So the last school bus had seen what happened. So they pulled over, and my boss had already caught on. He had already started burning. So they were like, oh my God, everyone came down from that other car. We don't have emergency services, emergency and ambulance services in Nigeria. So everyone from the other bus, they came, they rushed, they were trying to pull everyone out of the car, and many men. So they were pulling. The car was already catching on fire. They're trying to find a extinguisher to turn it off. They pulled everybody. So after they put everybody, they were like, let's still try to take off this fire. So they were like, oh no, when they put everybody out, they were like, the bus is already burning really bad. Maybe there's no need for them to turn it off. But someone said no, that they should go back. So they went back to finally turn off the fire. So that's how they saw me lying unconscious under the bus. So at the bus, I was already under. Maybe I fell out of the window. I don't even know what happened, but I was under the bus, and I was on fire. Yeah. Okay, I really shouldn't be joking about this, but I mean, this was a couple of years ago, like 8 years ago, and I feel like I've really healed. But anyways, I was on fire. My legs were on fire. Fireball. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, so I was on fire, and they saw me. Thank God I was wearing like a blue t-shirt, which was on that factor that they said they used to see me, because if I was wearing something dark, they might not have seen me because it was dark, right? There was no street light, nothing. So they saw me and they were like, oh my God. They pulled me out, and my legs were already burned. My arm had burned. Something pierced my hand here. I had like a scar on my eye. Sorry, foundation is covering it. Like one eye, I had a cut right here. This eye was like blood, filled with blood, and so small. Anyway, so they dragged me out. They put me inside the other bus, and they drove back to school. So this was in 2012, right? My school, Babcock University Teaching Hospital, which is an amazing facility right now, but then it was just starting up, so they didn't have the capacity to like help me. So they are driving me to school. So when they got to school, the emergency said they didn't know how to handle a trauma situation like this, because there were many that had been impacted by the accident. So they took me back to Lasut. No, not Lasut, but the teaching hospital in Ogun State, Osut, I don't remember the name, but like the teaching hospital, you guys get the gist. So it took me there. I remember it was like one of episodes of Grey's Anatomy. So I was like wheeled in, and they just carried me from the gurney to the bed, bam, and the doctor just took like scissors and like put it through my clothes, just removed my clothes. It was just like it was kind of like first aid. They were just like blah 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 blah. They stitched, they did this, they did that, blah, blah, blah. They were just trying to like resuscitate me. And I remember I had been on my period, so I called the female doctor. I was like, my period. She was like, no, don't worry. I even think the shock of the accident, my period disappeared. I did not have period again. Anyway, so like they just like stitched me up. Maybe they stitched me up and they put me in one corner to stay. on a gurney. I was in and out of consciousness. Oh, let me recap. So on the drive from Babcock, which is my university, to the teaching hospital, my course mate Amarachi, I was on her lap. My head was on her lap, and she was crying and she was praying. She's like, Bibi, Bibi, stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. And me, in my consciousness, I was like, Amachi, what are you talking about? I'm here, I'm fine, I'm okay, don't worry, I'm okay, I'm okay. And I was really in that, she was crying, Bibi, stay with me, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave me, don't leave us, don't leave us. In my mind, I said, what's happening? Like, I was really responding, like, no, Amachi, I'm fine. She was like, pinch my hand if you can hear me. I was pinching her hand, seriously. I was like, in my mind, I was even afraid, like, why can't she hear me? Why can't she hear me? Like, I'm talking back, but she could not hear me. So anyways, so that's what we did till we got to the hospital. And I remember asking Amarachi, I was like, oh, did you feel me pinching you? Did you feel me respond? She's like, Bibi, you were gone. You were not saying anything. You're just barely scratching my hand like this. And that was what gave me hope to know that you were still alive. And I was just like, wow. But to me, I was like, Amarachi, stop now. I'm okay. Like, but she couldn't get anything. So what happened afterwards, they not put me in the corner. My two sisters, they were in Scotland. Then they were getting their master's degree. Also, my friend Sandra had their number. So called my sister Shay called Sister Ayo. Sister Ayo was like, they were trying to deliberate what should they do. They knew they were not going to call my mom because my mom is a drama queen. So they called my dad. My dad was in Abuja on the business trip. They called my dad, like, Bibi has been involved in an accident though. The Shah explained everything to him. So he was like, he's in Abuja, what will you do? So he called his friend, Pastor Akinshola, that lives in Ogun State, that I want to come and look for me in the hospital, that's where I was. So the guy came, looked for me. Shah saw me, prayed with me and everything. But so he waited till my dad boarded. This was like 3 a.m. Everything had already died at like 3 a.m. So the guy came like 6 a.m. My dad came like around 8 a.m. Between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. my friend Tega, he came, and I could see the look on his face that was a hot mess. Like, I didn't know what I looked like. I didn't know the impact, but the way he looked at me, like it was seeing a ghost. It was like it was so scared. In my mind, I was like, what do I look like? I don't know what I look like. How bad do I look? And everything. So he seemed so scared, and it was just like, what's wrong with this girl? So I was like, okay. So my dad came around like 9 to come and pick me. And when my dad's driver saw me, he was so scared. And I remember, I was like, how bad do I look? And why is everyone so scared of me right now? Like, that's what I was just thinking, like, how bad do I look? So anyway, so they made arrangement to take me. My dad called his friend that had a private hospital in Lagos. So he called that one. They made arrangement for a private room for me to go to. So I went to a private room. They checked me in, many. As soon as they checked me in, my dad called my mom, like, one of your children, they're not feeling fine, come and meet us at the hospital. My mom quickly left her work, went home, to cook. Nigerian virtuous woman, she went home to cook, boiled water, everything. Like, why is she so sick that they could not take care of her in the school hospital? Why did she have to come to Lagos? She was even confused, like, my dad was in Abuja, how did he find that? It was confused, but when she just said that, she didn't think too much about it. So when I got to the hospital, they wanted to start doing tests. At first thing, they were going to do x-ray. I could not stand for the x-ray. I could not stand because they wanted to check if I had like internal injuries, but I could not stand. That was how disorientated I was. So they decided, like, I just had each consultant, different consultant, ANT, this one, orthopedic, different consultants were just coming in and out of my room to check different things to make sure I was fine. That was how bad the accident was. They're like, oh, they have to take me to go and do an MRI scan. So I had to go to Micure. You might know Micure, it's an Oshodi. I went to Micure to get my MRI, but I was in and out of consciousness. I won't lie, I was in and out of consciousness. Like, I went to Micure, they did it. They said I had like some minor injuries at the back of my skull, but because I was quite young then, they were like, it's not something that needed surgery, it was gonna heal by itself. So they took me back to the hospital and many. Oh, actually, that was the day after. It was my mom that took me to Micure because my dad had to go back to work. And so anyway, so what happened though? So my mom, so she got to the hospital. So the doctor was like, there's something that's happened to your daughter that she should calm down. She just dropped the breath. Say, where is my daughter? Wait, I want to see my daughter now. My mom was already dramatic. You trust now, dramatic Yoruba mom. I want to see my daughter now. Where is my child? Hey, that's how they just opened the door. She just saw me on the bed. My mom passed out. She said she could not recognize that I looked like old woman. That even as people were coming to check, I was like, what, 17, 18 at that age. As people were coming to check on me, they thought I was like in my 30s. My mom was like, no, Omodenio, she's a small girl. Oh, that you're looking at her, she's a small girl. Is this accident? I looked so black. I looked like I was swollen, like the trauma, I was swollen. Like I looked a hot mess. My mom was just crying. My dad was shouting, she's okay, that she's fine. At least my mom was weeping. Oh my God, like I could not even be, I was in and out of consciousness, but I could hear her crying and everything. So Shasha, fast forward. So I had burns all over my leg. And like when your skin burns, I think it was like 30-degree burns, like it stiffens. So there's no blood, like it stiffens so hard. So I had people coming to check. They were like, okay, the first stage. So after that, now they're done emergency care. I was feeling better, nice. I was like, oh, thank God, I'm almost done with this experience. Little did I know that, baby girl, you're in for the long run. I was even like, I was already feeling better. What's it called? I don't remember her name, but like the muscle doctor, Sha. Anyways, I was already feeling better and many. So when that happened, I was like, okay, maybe I'll be going home soon and I can go back to school. I can go and see my friends and all. But no, so they came, and the orthopedic doctor and one other doctor, plastic surgeon, so came to check out my leg. I'm like, this thing's really hard. To tell my mom to buy one cream, that they'll be applying the cream on my leg so that to be softening the adding tissue. So then I had 2 surgeries. So my first surgery was after they had finished applying that cream to soften the tissue, was to cut off the burned skin. That was the first surgery I had. So they took me into surgery in my leg. They took I don't know what, I shouldn't describe that because I don't know. It's like they took a scalpel and scraped off all my burned, affected skin. And this is a large surface, but my legs, they took it off. And so when they were done, they wrapped me in bandage and took me back to the hospital. I was looking like the mummy. So I was like, okay. Then this was when the pain started, because that stuff that I'd done, they had to clean me up with gauze and normal saline every 2 days. And imagine your flesh being cleaned up. So number one, they have to wet the bandage to pull the bandage off my wound. Imagine you having like a small wound that you have to take a plaster off. So imagine if the wound is like a big surface and they have to take a whole bandage off, scrub it down, rebandage it, and do that every 2 days for like a month. I thought I was depressed. The pain was excruciating. Like they will take off the bandage and they have to clean. Imagine your flesh being like, just imagine a small wound when that thing is being taught. Now imagine in a bigger surface. I don't think I've ever felt that much pain in my life. It was the most excruciating pain. Like I'll put my head in a pillow and scream into it. I was like, oh my goodness, it was horrible. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. So we did that for a month, and after that the doctors came to check me, like, okay, I'm okay for surgery. So what they did for surgery is like they took skin out of my thigh. So they scraped my thigh off. So I have a big giant scar on my thigh. They scraped some skin off my thigh. It's kind of like do copy and paste. They copied skin from my thigh and pasted it on my legs. They did a mesh graft. So they took skin from my thigh, they put it through a mesh and like put holes in it, and they pasted it on my leg. That was my second surgery, so that to stay. After that, they wrapped it so that my body can take my skin. So you can look into it. It's called skin graft surgery. A skin graft surgery. So that's what they did. So anyway, so they did that. That was my second surgery, which was fine. So after that, I stayed in the hospital for another. Anyways, I was in the hospital for like 6 months. March, April, May, June, July, August. I left in August. So I was in the hospital for 5-6 months. So they did the surgery. They will come and check to make sure that my body was taking my skin, because that they use my skin or maybe fish scale, like they're different, but my skin was fine. Normally they take skin from your back or from your thigh, but yeah, they took my skin. I remember when they brought me back from the surgery, I asked the doctor, I was like, so you mean I can never wear mini skirt again or bomb shorts? You have spoiled my fine girl. The nurse was like, look at you, you're still thinking about fine girl. So you to thank God that you even have life and you have leg to walk. I said, okay, good way to put it in perspective. But people have spoiled my fine girl, I will not lie. Anyway, so after the surgery, I was in the hospital, and like imagine I've been confined to a room. Can you imagine being confined to a room for almost 6 months? I didn't know what outside of my room looked like, because I wasn't conscious when I went to the room. I didn't know what outside, like my friends would come and visit me. I felt so depressed and sad. Like I was just seeing everybody going on with their life, and me, I was just saying my life was on pause. My friends would come and visit me, at least it would bring me joy. give me gist, many and all. But like I was so depressed. I was just so sad. And like what happened after that, then finally afterwards, I was about to be released. Like, oh, my skin has taken well. I started to come in for the hospital for checks and everything. But guess what? Baby girl did not know how to walk again. That period of like laying in bed, I'd not experienced muscle atrophy because they did some exercises for me, but I could not walk. Like I didn't remember how to walk. Can you imagine how the brain? I didn't remember, so I had to go through physiotherapy, teaching my body how to walk. Like sometimes we take this miracle of walking for privilege, but it's a miracle. So I had to relearn how to walk, and each time I walked, my whole body would be itching me. It was so discomfort. So it was comfortable for me to say, no, I'll just stay in wheelchair. So I started from wheelchair, I started walking. Then they gave me crutches. I used crutches for like 6 weeks before I could finally start walking back on my own. I had to go back to school to do my exams because I had missed my exams, and it really pained me because when I resumed, many people were like, "Oh, I only passed because I had an accident." I was like, "No, but I studied." That was a very mean thing to say. So, anyways, so yeah, I was back home. I'd lost all my self-esteem because I was not a fine girl in definition of fine girl. Look at me, I'm covered with scars. Who will marry me? Who will marry somebody that has scars? I mean, that made me make a lot of bad dating decisions because anybody that smiles at me is like game on. We died there, even if it was toxic or mean or anything, just because I'd already lost my self-worth. I was a hot mess in my own terms as of that time. So anyways, yeah, so I went back to school. I used to wear only long clothes, long skirts and Babcock trousers, and so I only cover my body. Even when I went to a show, I wear tights. Even after school, when I was in my NYC, I was always covering my body because I didn't want anyone to see my scars. I was so ashamed of them. Like, why should they be seeing my scars and everything? And people actually made comments, even though sometimes I'll try to wear something short, like, oh, cover your scars up, or things like, people actually did make really mean comment. And like my family, each time they try to encourage me, like, no, it's not a big deal, it's scars, rock them, blah blah blah. I'm like, no, I beg, go. I don't want anybody to talk to me. Even on the street, people look at me with bad eyes, and like that. Some people even make like disgusting facial expressions at me. So imagine, I was actually in a really bad place. Like, you guys look at me like, oh, look at this beautiful, confident, bold woman. Like, I wasn't that person. I wasn't beautiful, I wasn't bold, I wasn't confident, or maybe I was, but I definitely didn't feel that way. And it was such an interesting phase in my life. And I would say, thankfully, like after my NYC, I moved to America for my master's. And I think that's where I started learning, like restarting life, because number one, I'm moving to a place where nobody knows me. So if I come out to scars, you might as well think I was born with it, right? Sometimes I won't tell people that it's a tattoo. So that's why I really restarted my life again. I started moving with people, and like I really like America because it was very, people were very open-minded. Nobody was staring at my scars. I mean, people would ask questions, children would ask, and I'll tell them what happened. I had an accident, and that's all. But yeah, it just helped me to become much more confident, and all. I started getting more involved. I mean, I've always been a church girl, so that was never a new thing. But I started getting more involved in church. I mean, and when it's cold, I mean, some winter you're not wearing anything shorts because I moved abroad in the winter, so it was only trousers. But I remember the first time. Sorry, my landlord, they're dragging furniture. But yeah, I remember the first time I actually wore a short dress to church. I was so ashamed, like I didn't want to stand up, and I was an usher. So imagine having to be showing my scars and everything. But like small, when I could see people's body posture, reaction, they weren't feeling any. I got more confident, and now this is where I am now. I strut my scars because it's such a big part of me. I mean, I actually thought my scars were gonna leave me like within months of the accident. I actually thought that. I always tell people that, don't worry, my scars will go, they will disappear. I used ori, I used diagbon, I used snake oil, I used different things just to try to fade them. I mean, they're more faded than they were when I first got them, but I really thought it was gonna go like after like a couple of months. But this is where we are now, 8 years later. I remember a few years back, my parent actually asked me, do I want to look into doing like, if I want to go to India to do some kind of plastic surgery for it. And I told them that no, that these scars, they're part of me now. I don't see my life, I don't see me being that girl that doesn't have scars anymore. It's such a huge part of me, and I rock it. I love to wear my knee-length dresses. I have to show my scars. It is what it is. I mean, sometimes in these spaces I'll be shy, but it is what it is. It's a part of me. I feel like everything happened to me for a reason. I know it wasn't God that did this to me. It just happened because it's life. It's someone made a bad decision to drink and drive, and they endangered lives. I know one of my lecturers died from that accident, and it was a newlywed. They had a small child, and that was really, really painful. I know people that had big scars on their face. I know many, many things. But even though I spent 6 months in the hospital going through therapy, doing multiple surgeries, my mom had to put her life on hold. Like, God bless my mom. And this is actually making me feel emotional right now. Like, she literally had to put her life on hold. She was a school teacher then, and it wasn't the easiest thing, but she had co-workers that were willing to cover for her. Sometimes she had to just go in so she doesn't get in trouble, and many, but she put her life on hold, and she was in the hospital with me. She had her bed. She stayed with me morning, afternoon, night, and I used to be so mean to her because I was just angry. I was angry with the world. I would also say that maybe I was also angry with God, because as of then I was asking, why did he allow this happen to me? But then now that I'm here now, I understand that he didn't allow it happen to me. And if rather he didn't cause it, but he permitted it for certain reasons to help me grow into this woman that I am now, this bold, this beautiful, this woman. Because the thing is that no matter what happens to us, we can never ever be at a disadvantage. At that point in time, I did feel like as a disadvantage. I felt like, okay, now I'm less desirable. Like, who wants to be with me? Who wants to marry this? Even if someone brought me home, even if someone brought a girl that asked us home, and I had a brother, which I don't, will I even be happy to, like, will I even be happy for him to marry that person? But my husband's family, they're like God sent, like they're amazing, they're loving. Like, I don't even know what I did to deserve this group of people. Like, I certainly didn't do anything, but like they're just the most accepting, most loving, most, like, I don't know, I always just thought like I was not just going to be accepted by my in-laws because of my scars, but like it was quite the opposite. They're the best group of people that you can ever, that a girl can ever have as in-laws. My mother-in-law, she's amazing, she's just a wonderful, she's a good woman. Everyone, they're just like so good. And like I would also like my family too, they were just like really, because I mean I was angry for a long period of time, and everyone just gave me that space, like, just let her be, she'll figure it out. She's gone through something that is so traumatizing that maybe has even changed her life in one way or another. And they gave me the room. They gave me the room to figure things out and come back to myself. I mean, I used to fight to my siblings a lot, fight to my mom. Like, now I think about it, why was I so mean to my mom? Like, I shouldn't have been so mean to her, but I was so mean to her because I was just angry. I remember my then boyfriend used to like tell me to calm down. Like, why am I being mean to my mom? She's the only one here. She's literally paused her life just to be with me, and I was just being so mean and nasty to her. So I guess what's the moral of this whole story? I just want you to know that whatever thing that you've gone through, whatever thing that is traumatic that you've experienced, whether it's a life-changing disease or an accident or even sexual abuse or trauma, I just want you to know that God is still there with you. He hasn't left you, he hasn't forsaken you, he's not ignoring you. He didn't let this bad thing happen to you. I will promise you, he didn't let it happen to you because he was angry with you or anything. But there's something I know that you can learn from it. Maybe it helps you, pulls you closer to God's purpose for your life. The Bible makes us understand that God has a purpose for us. He has something that he has desired in his heart for us. And that's it. He has a plan and a purpose for us, and everything that happens to us ties into that plan and purpose for him. So don't feel discouraged. You can never be at a disadvantage. Right now you may feel like, oh, this thing has happened to me, I'm at a disadvantage, but no, all things work together for good. Keep loving God, keep thanking him, keep being encouraged. Don't live like angry, don't live life full of regret because something happened to you. It's life, things happen, but there's God's glory can be seen in it. God's glory can be seen in it. So yeah, I just want to encourage you, keep trusting God. You're not here by mistake. There's a purpose God has for you, and I just really hope this video has blessed you. I know it's longer than my regular video, but I just really hope this video has blessed you. I hope my story has inspired you. Now you see me, I'm bold, I'm loud, I'm just out there for the kingdom of God, because I know what I've gone through. If not for God, I wouldn't be here by now. My life would have been Bibi Babatunde 1994 to 2012. Can you imagine? That would have been my life. I could have died, but God said no. Mercy said no, and for that I'm still standing here today. And that's why I owe God my life. Everything that I am, is for God. So when people be like, oh, you're too out there, you're too loud for God, I'm like, you don't know where I'm coming from. You don't know what He has taken me through. This God is wonderful, He's praiseworthy. So no matter what you're going through right now, just know that the end is great. You can't see it now, but He has good plans for you, great plans for you. Keep on believing, keep on trusting, and you're loved by a wonderful Father. Thank you so much for watching this video. I promise not to cry, so I'm glad I didn't cry. Great Bibi. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I just hope it has touched you one way or another. Be blessed. Yeah, be blessed. Bye. Till next time. Oh, please hit the subscribe button and like. Don't say because I give an emotional story you won't like or hit my subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and like it. Bye guys.